Hey YouTube, do you have a bathroom fan that makes grinding noises, squeaks and squeals, or sometimes will start and other times won't start? Most likely, if you do, it has something to do with the bearing. And unfortunately, that's not worth your time to fix. However, as long as you have a conventional bathroom fan and not one of the fancy high efficiency DC ones that have become popular in the last 5 years or so, I have a solution for you that will be a permanent fix, costing you about $10 to $20 and a little bit of your time. So if that's what you need, please stick around and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, here's the secret. Your manufacturer of the fan, just like any good megacorp, wants to make money off you more than just originally selling the product. So you'll find that replacement parts get more expensive as time goes on. I'm pretty good at finding replacement parts, and I couldn't even find anything equivalent for mine. However, for ones that were of the same time period, a replacement unit would be 3, 4, 5, 6 times the cost of a brand new fan. Now, how can they get away with that? Well, first off, they have a limited amount of warehouse space to put parts in, and after a while, they just don't keep them. Secondly, they know that it's going to be a huge pain for you to crawl around in your attic, make electrical connections, reconnect the exhaust ducts, and do everything that's necessary to put in an inexpensive replacement fan. So for that reason, a module that can be popped in for 5 minutes is going to cost you $80, $90, or $100 plus. Here's the thing. The laws of physics have not changed in the last 1,000 years. So if you have a 50 CFM fan from a certain manufacturer, all you need to do is buy yourself the current model 50 CFM fan from that same company, and we're going to take the guts out and install it into the existing housing. This picture shows everything you get with a brand new $15 50 CFM kit from Home Depot. We will end up throwing away about half of these components, but even doing so, it's still 4 or 5 times less expensive than buying just the replacement module. And I couldn't even find anything for sale. The first step is to remove the impeller or plastic fan assembly from what you just purchased and put it aside. That's necessary before we can remove the motor assembly. It's important that you pull as close to the center line of the shaft as possible. Don't grab the outside of the fan or else you may distort it from the forces that you apply to get it off the shaft. It's best to grab as close as you can to the middle and be sure that you're pulling orthogonally or straight away from the shaft to make sure that nothing gets bent. This is what the underside and top side of the fan impeller look like, even though they're markedly different than the shape or even the material of the one that you're replacing it from. It should be just fine as long as the overall height and width are about the same. Likewise, even though the method that the motor is attached to the assembly is completely different between the new replacement unit and the old model, it'll be fine because the spacing between the motor mounts and their respective bolt holes is identical, and that's all that really matters. Here we see the new motor on the left and the old motor on the right, and their overall dimensions are identical, as well as the spacing between any of the mounting features that we will need to attach it to the respective mounting plate. Likewise, when we stack them on top of each other, the old motor on the top, the new motor on the bottom, we see that the shafts are almost the same length, and they're close enough to not rub on the housing, and that's all we really care about. In fact, the only modification that we had to make beyond removing the fasteners and reattaching them would be to remove a little bit of metal from the sheet metal component because the magnetic coil from the old motor and the new motor required slightly different amounts of clearance, but that was easily solved with a pair of tin snips or an angle grinder or something similar just to remove those corner pieces out of the stamping. As you can see, the new motor now fits perfectly into the old mounting plate. And because of that, we can just pop that mounting plate back into the existing housing in the ceiling without having to mess with any of the ductwork or rewiring anything at all. And here we have the mounting plate as seen on the other side. You can tell that the impeller is about the same footprint as the old one, so we shouldn't have any issues with interference between the mounting plate and the housing, and we should be able to pop it right into the ceiling without any difficulty. When you install the mounting plate back into the housing, be careful to tilt the unit gently into place so that the perimeter of the impeller doesn't accidentally snag on the sheet metal housing and become bent. I chose to use the factory or the existing grill because it matches the older bathroom,
but you can always use the fancy new shiny one that comes with the unit that you just purchased. They're generally interchangeable without any difficulty between different series or model numbers. When I started up the unit, everything sounded great. There was nothing rubbing or scraping, but as a final test, just to make sure that the anti-backdraft damper wasn't in the stuck position, I was able to vacuum the instruction manual up to the ceiling, and that indicated to me that I was getting a good draft from the fan itself.
Well, I hope that was a successful repair for you. If it was, please like and subscribe, because my kiddos and I love making videos about doing home improvement projects and just doing crafts and activities as a family. So we look forward to seeing you again, and thanks and have a great day. Bye.